Hi, everybody, and welcome to everybody. Just want to make sure that recording this, yeah, it's recording just for those that can't make it for whatever reason. So we're recording. Welcome to this session. So let me share my screen. Nice to see you all. Okay. All right. So this is a live session. This is optional, but I love to see the class once in a while getting together, even though it's distance learning class. Um, and I'll go through things you see here, a bit about Blackboard and our Blackboard. We actually have two sections of the course. You're in one or the other. Um, but the same thing applies to both sections. I'll go through the syllabus, open for questions at any time. Please do uh, speak up. We don't have a tremendous amount of people, but it's we have good enrollment. One section is completely filled with 40. The other is about 25 students. Um, it's nice because through the course we share some thoughts in discussion boards and maybe in these sessions also. But the main task is for you to follow along as I have this laid out for us in the schedule. Go through a little bit about that. Syllabus expectations, some tips how to do your best in this course. Mind Tap, the Diet and Wellness Plus. I'll try to hit some of the misconceptions that some students get and maybe do too much work and don't ask. But please, if you're uncertain at any time doing this or that in the course, send me an email. We could even do this kind of thing. WebEx, I'm on campus occasionally. In fact, I'll probably be on campus Tuesday, and I'll be on campus in March. We're trying to plan a March. March is National Nutrition Month, so we're trying to plan something in the student center around nutrition awareness. But that's what this course is about. Of course, for your whatever your academic program is. For most of you, this is part of it. Some of you, maybe it's um, just kind of a course you're very interested in and want to take, but it is in the end a course that many students at the end say, wow, I'm glad I took this to have some basic knowledge about this. Nutrition is such an important topic and knowledge base for us to have to do our best, feel our best, reach our physical, mental wellness um, optimal optums. Lockdown browser. Many of you did go about doing that. There's always some hitches with some of our devices that don't always completely go smoothly downloading this browser and making use of it. That's what the practice quiz is for, to work out any of those issues. It is uh, it is a requirement for the course to take um, our exams, those 5 exams through the course. And then please, in this session, any questions that come up, please just voice them. I'm not looking at the chat, so I appreciate you if you just speak up if you have a comment, question, or whatever. So on the screen here, a bunch of little um, uh, images that that nutrition is very interdependent kind of thing. It's at times complex to understand, but we're going to boil down some of the basics. That's what this little figure is about. We'll relate to and talk about where important information and knowledge comes from about this science, the science of nutrition, and that is, whenever possible, where does it come from? Peer-reviewed journals is a source that hopefully all our news sources get their information and broadcast from. Um, some of nutrition knowledge, the basic stuff we'll do, may feel like an alphabet soup. There's always a bunch of acronyms till you get used to them. Some of them, um, especially like RDA and DRI, you might know about already. There's a handful of others we'll get to know. Um, Nutrition and eating pattern is such a part of life. It's social, it's interesting, it's cultural. That's what this is about here. This right here, let's look at the next slide for this one. This common little logo we see very frequently. And but in it, I use this as a analogy for when you learn, for instance, more about nutrition. There's things that you see that maybe you weren't aware of before, but then hopefully there's lots of things that you'll see and learn in the course and you'll never forget. Um, what does anybody know what I'm referring to here when I say there's things that we will see and not never see again? I see someone raise your hand. Anyone know what I'm trying to infer here? What is the hidden image? Someone know a hidden image in the FedEx? Yes. Okay, two people. Okay, let's reveal it. Now, others, you'll never not see this again. There it is. There is an arrow there. Um, and now you probably will never not see that arrow. Isn't that cool? So I read that in a book maybe 10 years ago, and it just sticks with me that it's such a great analogy that was embedded there on purpose. Whether we see it before we know it, who knows what it means, but FedEx, the arrow going straight ahead. Another fun one to make this point also, when you see something, you never unsee it, and it's cool. It was there before, and maybe you didn't know. Maybe you know about this in the Tostitos chips bag there. There's this right here, two people standing with a chip over a salsa uh, bowl right there. So another kind of fun thing. There's others. If you and you probably see them around, but it's kind of fun. So the analogy is when we know about nutrition, about eating patterns and whatnot, we see a lot more in kind of important everyday things. I like to cook. I'm not, crazy cook, but it's a hobby. I'll tell you about myself, but I've been trying for many years how to make uh, tofu, at least um, to my palate, that I haven't eaten tofu my whole life, but I've gotten to a point that that we enjoy it. My family enjoy how we make tofu different ways. And I do some photography too, and I'm frequently taking pictures of um, food too. So that's a nice tofu dish there. This one is on I think this is on our I put it in the form. You may have seen this thing at the top of the form that you filled out. Uh, Colorful plates, we'll talk about that. That's a theme of that always comes up with the American Academy of Nutrition about your colorful plate. That was a theme last year. This theme is, we'll talk about it in March, National Nutrition Month. But the more colorful we make our plate with natural colors from foods, usually the more healthy it is. And as we go through the course, if you didn't know, you could look at food like this and think about what nutrients are we getting where, what might not we be getting, and that sort of thing. Fond of scallops, frozen scallops, really good if you're near around Wegmans. Wegmans have some really great frozen seafood and fish. That's my another placemat. I'm a chemist, so it's kind of a nerdy food plate. And of course, we enjoy all kinds of foods, right? And get nutrition out of them. We just don't want to overdo any one type of food. It's moderation. All right, so about myself, uh, I graduated back a while now from the University of Florida. I did master's and PhD both in food science and nutrition department, although my projects research were allied with the chemistry department and environmental science department. Um, I teach this course. I've been teaching at Rowan for about 10 years as an adjunct, mainly this course, but also chemistry, evening labs mostly, because I do also have a day job. I teach chemistry and environmental science at a STEM high school in the Princeton area. I previously was an industry scientist, a research scientist in the agrochemical development field, doing environmental studies on potential agrochemicals. And that was about 25 years. And now I'm an educator for the last 12 years in county college and in high school. So we'll be learning a whole lot about things. You're probably familiar with some of these terms, but in our eating pattern, our body needs about 40 different nutrients on a regular basis because we don't manufacture them, we don't make them, so we need a steady dose of them through our food or drink or supplements. And here's kind of a list of those 40 or so that we'll get to know uh, where they come from in our eating pattern, why they're important, and that sort of thing. Some of you may be taking or have taken already anatomy and physiology, or maybe taking it now. I understand Thursday nights there's a anatomy physiology lab that conflicts with this time frame, so I'll pick different nights maybe to do these optional live WebExes. But important in nutrition is some anatomy and physiology. We'll certainly talk about those organs, especially the ones around and important for the GI tract. Okay, appreciate everybody, just about everybody filled out, completed this questionnaire. It's for me to get kind of a flavor, and I kind of seen the pattern of what this course is at Rowan at RCBC. Mostly, you see here, about half of you have said it's part of my academic program. Uh, and some others have said it's a topic I want to master better or have better mastery. And then a good part of you said for both these reasons, and that's probably most common among you. This is, by the way, a consolidation of both both of the sections, put these data together. And who are we as far as path, academic path, career path? And this has been typical through the years I've been teaching this course at Rowan, that it's dental hygiene, dental technology program, and nursing. Majority of you taking this class with a number of other um, interests and fields and career paths. So kind of interesting. And I always curious about what in general, students taking this course, where would you say that you get nutrition information? I'm also curious about where and what other nutrition formal courses have anyone taken, in high school or even earlier. And I'm thinking not a whole lot, but it's such an important topic. We all should have some kind of broad fundamental knowledge in this. So online sources, some online sources are very good. Some may be questionable, that are mainly selling programs or stuff that maybe have some make some inflated claims, and maybe we'll see through more of that as we learn and challenge what we consume as information. But yeah, online sources rather, and some from reading other things, periodicals, a good chunk from health professionals. That's very good. If you have knowledgeable nurses or physicians that we see, or even um, dietitians, that's a good, of course, a good source. And hopefully you'll find this course a good source. Nutrition labels. Curious about how, if students, your peers, stop and take the time to read a label, know how to interpret food nutrition labels. They are made for everyone, the public. They try to make accessible for people to use the information. And so a good chunk of people saying most of the time. That's great, always. Some people saying never. So food labels, of course, are not on every single thing that we buy, but packaged processed foods are required to have labeling. We'll learn some about that, about what they're required to have on a label and how we can interpret it, make sense of it, and use it. Another important aspect of our eating pattern and healthy food pattern is, how much do we prepare our own food? Do we really know where it comes from, what ingredients we use, how we prepare it? So I asked that, and there's this is pretty good amount size that all the time or regularly preparing food most of the time. So that's about half of those responding saying about half the time that you prepare most of your own food. That's terrific. And about half the time, and maybe and others occasionally, and sometimes rarely. So, and it really depends on what else is going on in our life, of course. But making it a regular important habit, just like we take care of ourselves, food self-prep is pretty important. Okay, I'll talk a little bit about the syllabus. Um, Please, when you have questions or occasionally take a look at it, refer back to it. There's a good amount of information. I highlight some of the really important things in it. Some standard information here. How course numbers, how you can contact me. Of course, you'll have my email or through Blackboard. By the way, I do course, look at Blackboard regularly. I'm looking at how grading some assignments, see if there are messages, but I'm more likely to see messages quickly via email as opposed to trying to sending me a message through Blackboard. Okay, email is much faster. I'd see it right away, respond that day, or at minimum in within a day and a half. So email is the fastest way to get a hold of me. If you need to talk to me over WebEx, that's fine also. But initially, email is the fastest. Course outcomes. Well, so we're gonna hit lots of kind of basic stuff, pretty broad, but you'll have a decent depth of important critical topics to get a good introductory feel for nutrition, and hopefully you'll use it further in your career path and regularly in life. Uh, so the main classifications of what makes up food and drink, predominant chemistry principles that are involved in us understanding food and nutrition, some of how nutrition is characterized, spoken about, measured, communicated. That's these kind of things here, and some of the integrating some of our body's chemistry and understanding how we use, store, why we need these 40 or so nutrients on a regular basis. Some of the outcomes generally, you're going to practice a little bit of communicating, and that's mainly on the Blackboard discussion. Really some nice discussions. You will, every week or so, maybe not every single week, there'll be a discussion prompt for you to think about something that maybe you just read in the current chapter, or as the first one is, to look at a video and what's your take-home messages from something interesting and relevant to our course learning, and then share your response to the prompts that I have. And usually I'm asking for a small paragraph, nothing really like an essay, but sometimes it might trigger something that you want to articulate, some very interesting thoughts and things that you've put together. It's great to share that kind of thing, because then once you post your response, you read at least two others of your peers and respond to their posts, whether you agree or have something to add to that, or like a mini conversation. And that's kind of it's kind of fun to do, and just reading a bunch of the other um, responses is interesting. Course structure. So you'll see, and I'm sure most of you explored Blackboard already. You see that there'll be weekly modules, that within those modules, there are weekly learning tasks. They'll have um, the chapter. It says go chronologically through the textbook. The mind tap reminding you to do the mind tap that's scheduled to go through these little exercises, learning exercises. And then the video or the lecture, the mini lecture that I do for the chapters there, the PowerPoint, most of the time I'm using a PowerPoint or modifying a PowerPoint that's associated with the book. So most of the diagrams and figures should be, um, you'd have seen them in the textbook. I'll highlight some of the important things there. You'll see a study guide outline that is good to look at throughout the week, and especially when we come close to a test. And I'll show a little bit about, and maybe you've looked at already what the modules look like. And here's very important, the schedule. Most of the time, we wind up staying right on this schedule. This is again in your syllabus. You can always open up the syllabus in Blackboard, or if you can in any way, print it out. If you're a mix of a digital person and a paper person, it's good to have a syllabus to kind of sketch on or mark off or whatever your um, your style is. And so we're in the first week here. That's the overview for nutrition, and that's where we are there. So it's once a week we're moving on to another chapter. So you don't want to fall behind. The chapters are not difficult to read, but if you get behind and scramble, then you're not making it efficient for you to absorb, or effective to absorb and think about the key points, the things we're learning. Okay, so you'd see every month or so we have sometimes a little more an exam, and exams usually have the same format. Again, of course, they're online. They're using this lockdown browser. The exams are typically around 40 questions. There's within those 40 questions, there's maybe five to seven short response, otherwise multiple choice and true false. And before each exam, do one of these WebEx sessions and go through some typical questions that may be asked. So there's the exams. We do have the spring break here. And there's a few weeks that have 2 chapters to go through. So that this one is backed onto spring break, so maybe spring break you could take a day or two to keep up with the chapters. Then coming and then so sometimes there's 2 weeks, 2 chapters in a week. So that happens 1, 2, 3, 4 times. They're much related material. Chapters run about 25 pages, many diagrams and figures and tables are there. So not that heavy a load, but you do want to make your time efficient while you're reading. There are within the additional resources in the web on Blackboard, there are some, I'll make an announcement to point these out. Some tips on how to read a textbook. I'm sure you've been reading textbooks in your academic career, but these are just kind of reminders that just reading without kind of engaging is not really making the best use of your time. It's best to take chunks and maybe do some note taking and writing as you're going through it, or closely associate, watch my lecture and do the mind tap together so you're making connections. Okay, so just scanning through here, you see there's definitely a pattern here. We're going through the macronutrients after these kind of overview chapters where we look at overview of nutrition that you're reading now, diet planning, digestion, and then we go into the 4 macronutrients: carbohydrate, lipids, proteins. All right. And doing that pattern in that way. And then we look at energy metabolism, very important chapter here, weight management. take the break, and then come back and do vitamins and minerals, and then life cycle nutrition, and finally uh, disease prevention and other kind of encompassing what a lot of things we've learned already. So there's definitely a connections being made among as we build through the course. The five exams are 65% of the grade. The 25% is the mind tap. That's throughout every week to get through the mind tap activities. So mind tap activities, if you haven't looked at it yet, they're little mini readings or little videos and responding to them. And sometimes there's little quizzes that you get another time to take, but it's hitting on the major things we're trying to learn, so they're very helpful. Um, each well, incomplete mind tap points add up to about 1,000 points. So we have 19 chapters there, so you can figure out roughly what each uh, what each chapter has, maybe 50 points or so each chapter that you build up. You'll have a running score both in MindTap and of course in Blackboard. So the MindTap, the average gets transferred over into Blackboard. So there's a column on your Blackboard to tell you how you're doing with the MindTap assignments, and the rest of Blackboard is the discussion points, and our exams. Okay, whoop. Uh, and there's the grades uh, template there. Um, and some other things and important things in the syllabus as far as just assessment, evaluation, um, what um, missed work, that sort of thing. But definitely anything that's comes up that's not expected, let me know. Um, I'm very understanding. I know all of us have busy lives. Just keep it effective. Got to do time management and communication. Uh, Reminder of the policies regarding if there's something that you need to, something comes up and you want to do withdraw or get an incomplete or these kind of things, just a reminder here of where you find the information that you need for that. Academic integrity is very important for the college. It's important to me too. It should be for you also. Um, and for us, it's mainly our exams that we take, and that's what the lockdown browser is for. That we're all honestly just trying to learn, to do well, and to show that in fair test taking, to show what you've learned in the course. So that's how we show that. The other important things we have what you pay for on at your college and in terms of student support. And here this should be in all your syllabi of where to go if you need these important student services. Okay, so Blackboard, this is a little well, kind of still looks like this. So Blackboard Ultra this is about the second year. It's a little update. It looks a lot cleaner now. So here, oh, that's So one campus event, I got to meet Barry. Came to this nutrition outreach little session I was doing on campus. Here's what our Blackboard looks like in its new Ultra state. There you see the modules, you see access to other important things like the syllabus and any kind of videos. This was introduction to the course. And here on Blackboard, you'll see, you should see, and up here, when there's an announcement, usually you see it when you open up Blackboard that there's a new announcement and other things. You'll get your weekly assignments and all these things we've spoken about. Here's a closer look. This is not the current semester. This was last year's fall. So it looks similar to this. And then when you look further and open up what the module looks like, it gives you all this kind of thing. And this will stay the same. This is the Mind Tap kind of little activities that you do. You take an opening quiz, which you get a number of times to take. And closer look, this is a kind of an interesting look at an aspect of related to that chapter. So this current chapter is overview of nutrition. There's something always debunking junk, a misconception in nutrition, a good learning experience there, case study. So these are little additional readings, not that long, but you do want to take advantage of them because you're going to learn something through each of these. Each chapter has a little activity with your diet and wellness plus activity. I'll talk a little bit about that shortly. And then a discussion board. So here's your discussion board that's open now. I saw that several people have completed this already. This one is looking at this YouTube video and answering prompts. So that's you. What's 3 takeaways from listening to this video? Here's what MindTap looks like. And you go through these. The dates correspond almost exactly to the syllabus dates with regard to each of the chapters. And you'll see the due date when you open up each of this, when we're at that week, the times that you have. It's good to familiarize yourself with the MindTap features. There's a little video here, orientation to MindTap. Should take a look at. On the right, there's some tools you can use. This one right here is the wellness and activity feature plus, rather. This is where basically in the beginning you're going to record at least 3 days of food, drink, and activity. And then you use those 3, or even better if you do a few more days if you can. 5 days is like optimal. Then you go back to those 5 days and you're instructed to do various types of analyses on these. And they're very revealing with regard to how we're doing with nutrient balance, how we're doing with calories, how we're doing with this vitamin or that vitamin or this fiber. So each week there's a different report that you build that give you a way to pull out a report from this information that you've logged in, and you try to be as honest as possible because it's valuable information. Like otherwise, how would we know how well we're doing with getting our vitamin D or whatever, vitamin K or fiber or calories? So that's a really nice exercise. So there's other things here. You can have the textbook read to you with this thing here. You could highlight the text that you have here. And by the way, the uh, this is the text right here, but you also can open the text within the weekly module here. But this is the textbook right here. You can open up. Okay, so those are key ones. This is a highlighter and that. So get to know those features if you haven't yet. And the short video is instructive also. Here's an example when you open up and you see the due dates for various things and the folders with activities. It gives you how you're doing with how much have you got done, how much you have left to do, that sort of thing. It's just opened up. You should be seeing any of this. So any questions that you have, please don't hesitate to ask. Oh, there's a feature here if you like flashcards, electronic flashcards. I have this kind of set of thing. It's on the toolbar there for definitions. Here's the Diet and Wellness Plus for the first week. It introduces you how to use this, how to input your food items. I'm going to show you a little bit here. So here's part of the Diet and Wellness Plus. You see here, I entered a few things for breakfast here. I have oatmeal, milk, banana, coffee, kind of thing. You just put that in, and later on, you'll be looking at reports after you put this in. So the first task is to record 3 to 5 or so days of everything that you've consumed. And also, so here's the places you've input. There's a pretty good, it's a pretty good connection with a good database of food and with all the analyses. Okay, and water intake, just another. So there's where you hit the track diet, and then you're gonna put in here if you want to search for if for lunch you had tuna salad, you put that in, and then among the choices, which one fits what you had the best. Sometimes you don't have exactly, but everything's kind of an estimate ballpark, but the closest that you can get to what it was, just choose that, and then you're good. And then later on, you'll recall the instructions will be given. This is input. Oh, that's let me go back there. These are the various reports that you're asked to do each week, a different kind of report. For instance, energy balance. You may want to say, okay, pick your days, and then look, and then hit the energy balance, and it will give you on average your intake daily as far as energy, that is kcals, and how much you expended, just your basal metabolic rate, because in the beginning you put in your rough statistics, your height and weight and age, and it does some of these rough calculations. But then also you're putting in, okay, I walked 3 miles, I ran 2 miles, I swam, that kind of thing. So that's the tracking activity right here. Then you'll pull out reports that are very interesting. Here's some of the reports here. For instance, looking at your fat breakdown. What percent of your intake was fat? Is it in the expected range that we see as optimal as far as percent of kcals as fat, carbohydrate, and protein, that kind of thing. Okay. Now some tips. Any uh any any questions, any comments? Okay, we're gonna All right. Um, okay, these are just some tips to remember. Keep on schedule. It's hard to with anything, it lets things slide. It's harder and a little more stressful to catch up on things. So find a good routine with whatever your other courses, whatever if you work, if you have family things, try to fit kind of a regular time to get through this work done effectively. It's important for your coursework, for how well you want to do in the course, but also um, how you want to absorb this really valuable information. Two, uh, make use of those mind tap tools. Some of them are very good. There's even an app if you like to take electronic notes. It has that tool there. Uh, it's got a way to create a study guide if you like to do that electronically. It's got read speaker, flashcard, and glossary. You can search within the textbook as if you had the textbook uh, with you on hand. I think I think the library, I've always asked them to have a current version um, of the textbook if you're on campus and like to look at the book in addition to your electronic. Should be there in the library also. So keeping up, that second one is knowing the tools and seeing, knowing where to look for the due dates, sort of thing. This is an example of an assignment, case study where you're reading a bit, and you'll be thinking like a health professional, reading a case study, and then just answering some key questions. And three, know how you learn. So sometimes as a student or even at work or whatever, we don't take the time to reflect on knowing ourselves and being most effective in the way we do things or learn things or get things done. It's good to stop once in a while and do that. Perhaps it's a it's a notebook. Graphic organizers have always been my favorite thing, even if I'm taking notes. How to do that? How do you organize information you want to go back and learn and retain and maybe add to? How do you do that? Sketching. Uh, how do you review materials? How do you organize things? Be an active learner. As you're reading and thinking, uh, be full attention. Good to put away other electronic uh, devices that might distract us. Maybe talking about what we're learning with other students, with family, with friends. That's a good way to reinforce. Know your learning cycle, learning styles. Play with your food. No, it's a joke there. Okay, grades, they are kept up to date. If there's an issue, if you think something is wrong or not, if I missed putting in a grade or you think a grade is incorrect for whatever, an assignment or something in Blackboard, if something came up during the week and you weren't able to finish the Mind Tap assignments and it was it was due and it went past the overdate thing and it closed, let me know. Give me a reason, of course, but I want want to support you as much as possible. The Mind Tap due dates. There's a window 2 or 3 days after that. There's a 10% penalty, but then there's a point where it closes. That chapter closes. So try not to let that happen. Okay. So we now it's a trite expression, but in the end it really is. We are our food intake, our nutrients, our activity really is what makes us feel energized, makes us feel good, or otherwise. And spinach, it's an amazing food. If you look at it, we'll learn all about this stuff here. Spinach even has 2 grams of protein, not a whole lot, but look at that vitamin A, 180% of the DRI. It has 8% of calcium in spinach. Now a serving of spinach is quite large. This package, in fact, is three servings. It was a pretty big package, but when you know that when you steam spinach down, it really shrinks to a very small. 40% of folate and 15% of iron. So it is really nutrient dense. Okay, these are some of the reports that you'll get from the wellness and activity plus app that you're gonna, the diet and wellness app rather, the reports that you'll be instructed on how to pull out. Really informative. And it really opens our eyes to the information. Like for this 3-day average, okay, this was my average in kcals. This is the protein I got. In fact, it's kind of low. I should be getting more protein on an average, carbohydrates, fat, all these kind of things. So very informative stuff. There's two essential fatty acids, like essential amino acids. And there are two essential fatty acids, and those are the omega-3, omega-6s, and it tells you how much you got from your eating pattern, how much of those did you get. They're very important in our intermediary metabolism. Okay, so there's a lot of information, even if you're kind of a data savvy and you really want to, there's extra stuff that's very interesting you may want to explore with that breakdown. Okay, there's a whole lot there. This is through the whole course. You'll be doing little parts of this kind of thing. Dietary fiber. Where does your fiber come from? That's one of the nutrients that most people don't get enough of. Fiber is very important. Okay, finally, just a little bit on the lockdown browser. I see that about half students already have done this, downloaded and took that little mini quiz. Don't worry about how you do on that quiz. I'm going to give you the full credit for it. It's just a practice quiz, and the questions are not some of them are not real relevant and not important. Even if you got look like a low grade, don't worry, you'll get all the points for it. It's a practice quiz. This announcement is important, giving you instructions. Again, I said earlier that with some of your setups, computers, you might have to make sure that you allow this sort of thing. Even with Mac, there's a place that you need to say, yes, I do want this, trust this browser. So look at this and the video that is here to give you some instruction. And this is some detail how to download it. This is what it looks like, at least on a Mac, on the dock. If you're having a different computer, then it will be wherever you put your apps on the uh, dashboard, whatever. So it's important. It's not just a browser, lockdown browser specifically for our college. It looks like this when you install it, Rowan College, Burlington County. And then you go through downloading process, there's following directions. And when you open up to use the browser, as a lot of you did for the quiz, if you have something else open, it says to close it. You can't open further without you closing other things that are running. Then you'll log into Blackboard the normal way, and then go to whatever you're trying to get to, whether it's the quiz or an exam. And at this point, you won't be able to, and that's with the Blackboard browser, it restricts you from using the browser for opening up anything else. Um, you okay. Here's an example. If you did the quiz, you get here, the quiz starts here, and then you go through this series of questions. You answer questions, you agree, and then you do this photo thing. Some of you that I'm noticing, because that's what the lockdown browser thing is for. It's for me. I see a dashboard of when you took an exam or a quiz, and it highlights if I don't look at every video. That's not what it's for. It's for highlighting if there seems like this unusual activity when you're taking a test or a quiz. That is like leaving, going aside, or picking up a phone, or looking like you're talking to someone. That's what this lockdown browser is supposed to do. Ensure that you're doing just this, you're taking the test honestly. That's what it's for. Your audio is supposed to be on, and then there's a bunch of questions like to show your ID. um, um, there's also a part that asks you to show your environment. So environmental check, do that as best as possible. It means trying to do this to show that you don't have papers and phone and other people around. That's what it's for. Um, and it's supposed to have everything clear away to show that you don't have you don't have books and things open all over the place. So if your video is tagged, that means it shows it's at the top and says whatever, suspect, check in with this student. Um, you know, I'll if I need to, I'll send you an email saying uh, you know, oh, it looked like you whatever. You went and walked away. You're not supposed to do that during the test, and I want this is to keep you honest, but I'll check in with you if it looks like you're abusing being online course. That's all. So that's just a quick preview. If if you have a problem, don't be shy about reaching out because it's important in this first week or so to get that straightened out. Take that quiz. Let me know if there's any problem. I tried. It's a bit difficult to help. That's why the lockdown brown responders people know a little bit better how to help someone because you can't look at your screen with someone else because it's a lockdown. You're locked down to only the Blackboard. So they have ways to help if you need it. But I'll try to help also. Um, so uh, so that's all I had for now. To go through those orientation points. Um, this is something when had in-person class, we would have a student, we took turns doing this kind of thing to talk about a meal that they either do themselves or have regularly. And what do you think the nutrition value is, that sort of thing. Anyway, questions, comments? Are there any, or was that a good overview? Okay, I see some shaking heads. I'm really happy to see uh, some of you that I hope this was helpful. And we'll do this every couple of weeks, certainly before exams, to go through and see any surface any questions, and go through some practice questions, point out some things in the textbook and everything. But there's a whole lot of resources that I've put in Blackboard, also in a folder called Other Resources, that I'll point out also. There's some good study guide type things there too, so explore what's there. Okay, if there's nothing else, thank you for spending an hour on Thursday night. Have a good rest of the evening and a good day into the weekend. And those that might be celebrating Chinese New Year, Happy New Year. My my the high school that I teach at has a large Chinese Chinese population. In fact, we're off. We have the school is closed on Tuesday for Chinese New Year. All right. Good night, everybody. Good to meet some of you. Bye bye.